Hey everybody, Adam Savage and Sauron and I are here with Brandon Allinger.
Hey Adam.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
We're at Prop Store in LA. They have an auction coming up and we've got some headgear in this video. Primarily, this is Sauron's helmet.
This is a really nice one. Yeah,
Dude.
Here, let's take it off the stand and really check it out. Because we were just chatting about this before we started here, and question is, what is it made out of?
Oh,
I feel like that's the number
I
one
can
question.
feel a cast resin with a leather-lined foam liner.
I love the lining. It's almost like a alligator texture skin.
Oh, it
there.
is.
Yeah.
It's like, they've actually used a textured, almost scaly leather to line the entire interior.
Which is so Weta. I mean, they're probably thinking there's a possibility you'll catch a glimpse of that on camera, right? So it can't be like a safety helmet or something. It's got to be in world.
You remember a few years ago when all the movies went from high definition to 4K?
Yeah.
And that there was a lot of discussion about how the shops that made stuff for movies were really grinding because they had to make stuff at a much higher level of detail. I think Weta Workshop is the only shop in the world that did not have to change their work process because they were already adding in an insane amount of detail.
I mean, for collectors, the name Weta is really known, but both for Lord of the Rings, which is kind of what they became known for, right? Like how they got probably not their true start, but one of their first big projects that got the major recognition. And then a lot of great just props for all kinds of different movies since. I mean, I remember Weta did stuff on movies like The Last Samurai, and they did guns for Avatar and Hellboy,
9,
right?
Yeah,
a huge range of different things. But there's probably no project they are more closely associated with than the Lord of the Rings films.
And this as the key helmet of the key villain of the films is really, just like everything they make, an incredible bit of narrative. It's clearly hand-hammered. It shows delicacy and crudeness at the same time.
So you think they built one out of metal first and then cast it?
It's a good question. Yeah. I doubt that they made it in metal first, given that they're looking for these sculptural forms. But the goal was that it had to look like a bunch of orcs made it.
Right.
Right? And then you've got these, it's going to be really hard to show this on camera, but the subtle blues and purples.
Yeah, I can see it.
They've gone with these specular tones that give the metal a kind of a burnt look, but not a standard burnt blue like steel would have, like it's maybe some other enchanted metal. But all that's built into this incredible paint job.
Yeah, beautiful finish on it. And I wonder if some of the reason they put that highlighting in with these spectral tones is so it just doesn't read flat on camera, much like Darth Vader with the two-tone, right? It's like you've got to have some areas of the finish that pop.
Exactly. And then there's all this sort of filigree detail that is almost worn away in some cases.
I'll hold it while you...
Thank you. Yeah, it's quite heavy. There's all this filigree detail, that looks like it's almost worn away. I mean, it shows both. It shows all the things you want to show about this character: his bestial nature, his crude nature, but also the refinement of form.
Yeah,
it's a masterpiece.
And the story behind this is, this is an original helmet that they sent to a licensee who was doing consumer products replicas. I think United Cutlery. This was sent to them as a reference piece, and they were able to retain it from that. So there's a batch of Lord of the Rings pieces out like that in the collector's marketplace, which are all that same origins. So it's sort of a well-known batch. But as far as I know, this is the only Sauron helmet that's out there. And just to have that on your desk, pretty lovely thing, right?
Dude, if I had it on my desk, I would want it always looking like it was smoking, right? Like it had just landed. And this is not accurate to how big it would have been on Sauron. Like Sauron was like almost 2 or more times the size of a normal person.
Okay.
So in reality, this helmet would have been gigantic.
Yeah, well, they love to play with scales in those movies, right? Yeah. Different sized people, different sized costumes, different sized helmets.
I want to call out on this paint job here, something really specific. Like on these uprights here, this is cast resin. It's made to be flexible so that it won't shatter. But there's nothing about this that doesn't make you think that this is a many times sharpened knife blade, right? Yeah. Like the paint job tells you that this is a much more brutal, hard material than it actually is.
Very intimidating. Yeah. You don't want to go to battle against this guy.
God. And also all about that silhouette, right?
I wonder. It's interesting how open it is in the face here. Do we see?
We can't see inside there. No, we only see black.
On camera, you never see anything. So I wonder if they had the actor, the performer wearing a hood, or I wonder how they did that exactly. Because this is just more open than I would expect it to be.
People watching are wondering how badly I want to put this on my head right now. Really badly is how badly I want to. But we're going to need white cotton headgear for me.
Or that's right. Or the Sauron hood.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, this is our first piece of headgear. Oh, so magnificent. Oh, I'm going to give you I'll give you this.
You change genres?
Yep, and we could change genres from the fantastical to the more recently historical. This is a piece I got super excited about when I saw it in your auction.
Yeah, I thought this was an interesting pick for you. I was curious why you wanted to look at this one.
I'm a hat guy.
Okay.
I always show up wearing a hat. I've worn hats for 40 years. This is Bill the Butcher's hat from Gangs of New York. One of my all-time favorite performances of a character ever is Daniel Day-Lewis as Bill the Butcher.
Yeah.
And having owned a lot of fanciful hats and a lot of practical hats, I have a few top hats that are almost this tall, and I always wanted to see this one up close.
So let me ask you, where do you wear hats like that?
Oh, you would wear a hat like...
to Starbucks?
No, no. It's so
Coffee
funny.
bean?
The last time I wore my gray felt top hat that is this tall, I was driving my Fiat 2000 Spider around. This is like the late 90s.
Okay.
And I just was like, a friend of mine gave me this hat. I wore it for like a couple days driving my red convertible sports car around.
Yeah.
I was that kind of guy in the 90s.
Well, you're going to stand out if you're wearing a hat with that kind of height on it, right?
You totally are, but this is also the thing that I love about this movie. When Daniel Day-Lewis is wearing this hat, which is a comically large, ridiculous hat, there's nothing ridiculous about it on him. It is
big personality.
Big personality. Yeah. It's terrifying. It's as terrifying as he is.
Yeah, yeah. And I think he has a few, right? I think similar hats, different colors. Isn't there a black hat in the movie?
Yes. And then there's some close-kept stuff.
Yeah, a lot of different costume changes in that movie.
I love that it's got the grain of real felt, of real long, untrimmed felt like this is incredible. And the staining on here.
Yeah, I think some of that screen matches, which is nice.
Man.
And is there a maker marked inside?
Let's see, I haven't even looked on the inside.
It's unmarked.
Negative.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't even...
I'm sure they made it specifically for the film, so it may not have been marked.
Right. Oh, man. The hat I'm currently wearing is partially inspired by There Will Be Blood, the hat his character Daniel Plainview wears in that film. There's a way in which he has talked about the hats he wears, and Lewis has talked about hats he wears in movies as being a fulfillment of the character and an elaboration upon the character. And I think of my hats as doing the same. So I love seeing narratively built hats for movies.
And do you know, how do they get the form to maintain such a crispness?
That is
because it's just felt, right? There's nothing other than the felt,
and it's steamed and it's pulled over wooden forms, and the steam allows.
But it's really, it is really rigid.
Yeah, this really is just quite thick, thicker than actually most hats even today. Like even cheap wool hats would be even thinner than this. I believe it's a process of steaming to loosen the fibers of the felt and then bringing them over forms and letting them harden in those positions.
And they just naturally reset?
Yeah, and they are super, super durable.
Yeah. Well,
this is also, I'm sorry, but like the type of ribbon this is called a grosgrain.
Okay.
And a 3-inch wide grosgrain band is like mind-blowing to me.
Aggressive.
Yeah, it's totally aggressive. Yeah. So you don't get Daniel Day-Lewis costume pieces very often.
Now I'm trying to think. We may have had 1 or 2 outfits from There Will Be Blood in the past.
You might have had stuff from Last of the Mohegans, maybe.
Ooh,
maybe not costume
I don't know if we had
pieces,
his stuff.
Right.
A few of the battle axes from that movie. You know, a lot of the Gangs from New York stuff is out there because when that film came out, which is maybe 2001 or 2 or something, early 2000s, they did a big auction at the time. I remember, and they sold a lot of stuff. And I remember they built so many props for that, just retract versions of knives, and there's a lot of stuff. I remember his knives that he's throwing at Cameron Diaz that are, have little eyelets to run down the wires. I remember those were sold. And so I do think there's probably a number of Day-Lewis costume pieces out there, but not a lot of hats. A lot of times hats are kind of like shoes. It's like there'll be a lot of shirts, a lot of jackets, less hats.
Right. Well, and I know for There Will Be Blood, there was only one hat.
Really?
Right. They found one hat. They
Yeah.
tried to make some replicas. None of them quite looked good enough, so they just used
Right.
the one.
Yeah.
I would wager, given the beautiful staining on this, it might be the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, we've got it. Let's not mess with success. What a beautiful piece. Very excited about that.
Should we jump genres again?
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, we're now moving on to Alien 3. Am I correct?
Alien 3, that's right.
Alien
Yeah.
3.
So this is the commando helmet from the very end of Alien 3, which is kind of the only time that we get back to that military vibe of Aliens.
Right.
The rest of it's totally different movie, this prison movie. But here the commandos come in, the Weyland-Yutani commandos. They're wearing these helmets and they've got the pulse rifles again.
And they repainted the pulse rifles for these guys.
Yeah, they're all black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the connection this has to the Aliens costumes is that this was made by the same person that made the Aliens armor.
Who you know.
Terry English.
Yeah.
This is lovely seeing some of Terry English's like lobster armor type of look. And here's his armor mark on the back there.
Oh, the little T. I see it.
The unmistakable.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I know that when he builds stuff like this,
And is this polished aluminum?
this is polished aluminum.
Yeah.
He starts with these flat sheets and makes these goggle covers. And,
Yeah. It's crazy.
like, I know that they're hammered, and I've watched him do it, and it's still, looking at it up close, it's like a magic trick.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful work.
And he made a bunch of these for the film. This isn't the first one you guys have carried.
This might have been the only one we've seen. It's
okay.
interesting. Yeah, I wonder what happened to them all because there's not a lot of them around today. I don't know if they just got rid of them. Maybe there's some at the studio. This may be the only one. I think we have sold this once before. It's coming back around now.
Okay.
Let's see if it'll come off of that.
I have a ton of reference, but my computer's broken, so I can't look it up right now.
Okay.
I have always had a deep affection for these helmets.
So the top cap is fiberglass. I wonder why he did that. Maybe just easier starting
Maybe
base.
easier to make one and done. And
But all this, you can see all the marks you're talking about, all this hand
no,
hammering marks,
everything
right?
here is hand hammered, and it looks like it's production made stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and really cool design. I mean, like the two-sided faceplate. I don't know what the intention there was, but somebody had something at some
I
point.
think he's
sure.
referring a little bit to, I believe it is a call out to jousting armor, in which case the lance side of your helmet might have more protection than the
Oh, I didn't
non-lance
know
side.
that. Okay.
Or at least within parade armor of the time, there was for jousting armor that had a distinctive left and right.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And so this is more open just so you're less hot? Less heavy?
I would hope.
Yeah.
But again, that's for jousting. Terry
Right.
is just taking hints from armor.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the greatest things he does as a designer is take little hints from the history of armor and bring them all together.
Like the Colonial Marine armor,
Yeah.
which is painted and camouflage and futuristic, but the ultimate shape of it is tying back to the medieval armor. right?
Exactly. Exactly. And I love that lineage too, because the first helmets made by the American military were actually researched at the Metropolitan Museum of Art's armor department.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The military sent their people over there to look at how war helmets had been made in history.
So you're talking about what, like the early 1900s or something?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, what an amazing piece.
This is a good one.
I never
Yeah.
thought I would see this thing actually in person. And my favorite thing about it, seeing it in person, is the profile. I love this back detail here. I think that's really gorgeous.
Yeah, like you say, lobster plates reminds you of the neck cover on the Colonial Marine helmet.
Yep.
And this, it's interesting. Alien 3 is not a big prop movie. They're wearing very simple clothes, those kind of olive drab sweatsuits almost, and then you've got like some fire axes in there, obviously the alien creature stuff, but as far as hardware,
You're right.
you can remember this, you can kind of remember the pulse rifles that play very briefly at the end. It's just, I don't know, if you're trying to think of like what's a prop that embodies Alien 3, maybe this. I don't know what else really.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a tough one. And they don't even have a lot of sidearms on them because it's mostly a prison break
Right,
movie.
it is nothing.
Yeah.
An axe.
I love this trio: Sauron, Bill the Butcher, and the tactical commandos from Alien 3. Brandon, the auction's coming up.
Yeah, September 4th to 6th here in Los Angeles at the Peterson Automotive Museum. You can bid for everything online. Catalog is online now, over 1,100 items in total.
Amazing, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, good to see you.
It's good to see you. See you guys next time.
Thank you guys so much for watching that video. If you liked any of the t-shirts you have seen me wearing on Tested, well, you can go buy them. First off, you can go buy them at tested-store.com, which is a web address that's nearly impossible for me to remember. It always takes me like 10 takes to get it right. My crew is smiling. But now there's a new web address you can go to, which is adamsavage.com. Much easier for me to remember. Go get your Tested t-shirts there, and there's a bunch of other cool stuff as well.